Silence. Good morning, everybody, students, and of course our esteemed speakers. We also have some professors in the auditorium, I believe. Hi, everybody. Can you all please do this for me? Raise both hands in the air. Stretch! Yeah, come on. Stretch! We want you all wide awake for day 2 of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. And thank you very, very much for being here to join us this morning. Can you give yourselves a round of applause, please? Thank you again to UP, mga Scholar ng Bayan, and other students from other universities joining us today. My name's Isa Litton, and I will be your host for the morning session. A quick recap. This is actually day 2 of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. Yesterday, day 1, we actually had industry leaders from real estate, banking, energy, logistics, snacking, and construction supplies, as well as retail industry sharing their insights about sustainability. And so far, it really is packed of information as they're so generous when it comes to their sustainability practices. But more than talking about ideas, it's really all about sharing their innovation and taking action towards a real sustainable future. So everyone, we hope that we will continue this journey of connecting ideas and creating positive change with all of you. Why are we here today? Again, it's for you. Sustainability means we are helping ensure a future for you. So can everyone agree that all the students present here today are sustainability champions as well? Give me a yes. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Now, it's not just going to be lectures. We got some fun stuff as well. Earlier, you heard me talking about the QR code. We do have some raffle prizes, courtesy of our partners. We are giving away, if I'm not mistaken, we're giving away Watson's gift items, SM gift vouchers worth 2,000 pesos, including the official Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum tote bag. It's really nice. And here's another thing so that it can sweeten your visit to the forum. Outside, we have some partner booths. Did you get to see them on your way? Did you get to booth hop? There's a total of 6 booths only. So after each booth, I hope you collected a stamp. And that means you were able to collect 6 stamps in total. At lunchtime, or I don't know if you did it before coming in, present those 6 stamps at the registration table. You get a sweet treat from the Manila Bulletin team. So pinag-cardio namin kayo, tapos bibigyan namin kayo ng asukal. Something to just wake you up some more. But again, after this morning session, during lunch, please take the time to visit all 6 booths, collect the stamps, and again, you do get a sweet treat. Disclaimer, only the first 50 get a sweet treat. Let's see if Manila Bulletin actually will extend to some more. Anyway, to get things started, and give us a recap of what happened yesterday, we give you Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum Project Lead. A round of applause, please, for Mr. Philip Kunhing.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. And I'm happy to see the CEU students are back again. Just for the sake, and welcome to the UP students who are here today. Just to let you guys give an idea to the speakers today, most of the CEU students are from which colleges? Can you speak up? What kind of courses are you taking? International what, sorry? International management, okay. Accountancy, okay. Psychology. Okay, so yes, just so that they'll have some idea. And then I was talking to some of the students kanina from STP, their STP classes that they're attending, STS. And that was Science, Technology, and Society. Okay, and so just to give an idea, some are from engineering, correct? And what else? Social sciences and partying. What's the society subject? SDS. Okay. So that's just to give them an idea of who you'll be talking to later today, no? And I just wanted to let people know that as far as we're concerned, we really are pushing this program of having the sustainability forums of the Manila Bulletin held at universities, because we feel you are in particular the ones who really gain the most from understanding what sustainability is about. We've often felt that we've seen people know that it exists. They see sustainability all the time as a buzzword, but how much do they appreciate or understand what's behind sustainability, and how much do they give appreciation to the companies who are championing it? And so that's part of what we're trying to do as part of this forum and a focus session that we also hold annually. No? We especially like the panel discussions, so hopefully you guys will stay around for the panel discussions. Yesterday, we were talking about you have a US president who's incoming in January who doesn't even believe in climate change. He thinks climate change is a hoax, and he thinks global warming is something that you can't have humans try to mitigate, that as far as he's concerned, it's just part of what's going to happen in nature. And so what do you do as a result when you have something like that? And then in the afternoon, we had a UP law professor who was asking, because he works with marginalized squatter communities, he was asking how relevant is sustainability to people who are just thinking of surviving. So these are the things that I think will be part and parcel of what you guys have to be opening your eyes to and understanding. So as far as I'm concerned, we have a really good lineup today. We have RLC Residences who will be starting off, and they were just they were just awarded Developer of the Year for both Property Guru and with Dot Property. So we're really happy to have RLC here with us today. We also have Megaworld. Megaworld has been recognized for one of the best green office developments here in the Philippines. So that's them looking out for the people who work in their offices as opposed to just thinking of condominiums and high-rise and where you people reside. And then we also have SMIC, which everybody's familiar with. They've been pushing really with an ESG agenda. And so they'll be here, part of what we're going to have today. And just so that you guys know, the one who'll be speaking on behalf of SMIC will be a third generation C, Chico C, the son of Hans C. And then we have Ayala Land, who yesterday was here as Ayala Corp, but they've also been doing a lot in terms of green foundations. And they were awarded by Time Magazine as the best company in the Philippines. Okay, so we're really proud of the lineup we have this morning, and we'll also be having a very interesting lineup this afternoon, so hopefully you can stay. We have a different kind of player in the real estate company sector this afternoon, the Mosa Land, who really exclusively works within Mindanao. And then we also have, UP will be actually having a slot later on talking about sustainability within the campus. And then we have Fininvest, and we also have one more, ASEN, which is a Ayala Corporation company dealing with renewable energy. So something very different later this afternoon. It's primarily real estate players this morning, but in the afternoon there's a very diverse group of companies who will be represented here at the forum. So thanks again for coming. No? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Philip Kuenhing. Wow, what a lineup. Did you see all those awards? You know what? It's not the award. That's actually the cherry on top. Really, it's the practices, the fact that they make it happen. So, wow, what a lineup. So without further ado, let's begin with the first. From our partner brands, we have RLC Residences. It is the residential division of Robinson's Land Corporation. They're committed to building low-emission, resilient, and green residential spaces so that they can ensure their projects utilize renewable energy sources. To share more about how RLC Residences is embracing sustainability in their residential developments, that's all towards a greener future. Again, it's not just taglines, guys. It's not just marketing. They actually make it happen. Let's all listen to RLC Residences Head of Planning and Design, Architect Conrad Erfe. We got flags. Wow. There's a cheering squad. Kayo pep rally. Mamaya may tatambling-tambling dito. Okay, game. Hi, Architect. Love the energy we're bringing here this morning.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Good morning. Thank you, Manila Bulletin, UP faculty, students, and guests. Thank you for having us here. I'm here to discuss my topic, which is towards a greener future, sustainability in residential developments. In August 2024, as you can see on the slide, global surface temperatures ranked warmest with an incredible increase in temperature at an almost 1.4 degrees Celsius since 1850. The source is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Global Climate Report. Okay. This is a bleak picture, but it's something that we should be more conscious and aware of. We are responsible for climate change. Increasing temperatures lead to more extreme rainfall, droughts, and heat waves. Rising temperatures are the primary effects of climate change. Since everything on Earth is interconnected, changes in one region have an impact in all other areas. Rising sea levels, higher temperatures, increased frequency of typhoons, extreme weather events causes floods, landslides, and erosion that pollute water resources, damage infrastructure and crops, which lead to loss of lives and livelihood. Did you know that the World Risk Index ranked the Philippines with the highest disaster risk in 2022? This is the reason why we need to be more environmentally responsible, ecologically sustainable, and resilient. But what is the difference between sustainability and resilience? Sustainability is the ability to continue important functions indefinitely without a decline in quality, while resilience is the ability to thrive in the face of change. As a real estate developer, our company is committed in ensuring that our developments are ecologically sustainable, energy efficient, and resilient. This is a commitment from our chairman and CEO, Mr. Lance Gokongwei, across all businesses and corporations under the Gokongwei Group. We are contributing our efforts in the care and preservation of our environment. We realize that the construction and maintenance of our residential buildings play a significant role in the ecological footprint of our city. We at RLC Residences prioritize green building practices like energy efficient designs and use of sustainable materials. To ensure that we are guided properly in our designs, we look into three organizations: BERDE, LEAD, and EDGE. BERDE stands for Building for Ecological Responsive Design Excellence. It was developed by the government through the Department of Energy. It is more locally attuned and assesses, monitors, and certifies the performance of building projects that considers the country's specific environmental and climatic conditions. LEAD is the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. It was developed in the USA and is a globally recognized green building certification system that uses point system on practices used during design up to the construction phase. EDGE is a green building certification system developed by IFC. IFC is the International Finance Corporation, which makes it a global standard backed by the biggest financial institutions in the world. It is designed to make buildings more resource efficient by focusing on measurable reductions in energy use like electricity, water consumption, and embodied energy in materials. What is this? The embodied energy in materials is the energy consumed by the processes associated with the production of building materials. Okay. Among the three, we decided to use EDGE certification across all our projects. It was easier to translate the output scores into a more practical and tangible day-to-day benefit, since the end output of the certification translates into an actual savings of energy. How does this benefit our residents? From a building management perspective, savings from electricity and water consumption will result in reduced operating expenses. This will mean lower condo dues for homeowners. We wanted a more practical way to be sustainable. It is not just a marketing tactic because we can confidently declare numbers to our homeowners with our EDGE certification. Our commitment is 1 million square meters of gross floor area of net zero carbon and resilient condominium projects by 2031. These are some of our ongoing projects, and some of them are already EDGE certified. This is Mantawi Residences in Mantawi City, Cebu. Okay. The rooms have higher window-to-wall ratio, allowing more light and natural ventilation to the interiors. We also used energy-efficient LED lighting fixtures to provide efficient lighting while reducing power consumption. Inverter-type air conditioning is also used for efficient cooling. Use of aerated and low-consumption faucets and showers and dual-flush water closets help reduce water consumption. Light-colored paint on walls and rooftops reduce heat gain. These are some of the images of the amenity floor, the lobby, and lounge areas. This is the Pont Residences at Bridgetown, Pasig City. EDGE certification. We use similar sustainable features for natural lighting, artificial lighting, and ventilation, energy-efficient LED lighting fixtures, water-saving toilet fixtures, and we also incorporated green roof and walls to insulate our amenities. Precast building systems were used for less wastage and labor during installation. So these are the views of the green roof for the clubhouse and amenities and our lounge areas. This is Shera Valley at Cainta, Rizal. Aside from the same facilities used for lighting, ventilation, and water conservation, we incorporated solar panels for solar power harvesting. We also have incorporated gray water facilities that reuse water from sinks and showers for use in non-potable applications like flushing and landscape maintenance. We have partnered with FarmTop for our hydroponics. These facilities are located in our roof decks. The crops produced are supplied to supermarkets, restaurants, including the residents. Okay. Mira Residences at Cubao. Again, we have the same energy-efficient facilities for lighting, ventilation, and water-saving fixtures. We also incorporated materials recovery facilities for all our projects for waste segregation and recycling. Okay. Okay. So the green sustainability features and green initiatives. Okay. Next is the Forbes Estates Lipa. We provided detention tank, okay, which is more of a flood mitigating measure to manage excess storm water and prevent flooding within the area. The roof areas for the clubhouse and covered basketball court are maximized with the use of solar panels. A rainwater harvesting facility is incorporated to collect rainwater to service the landscape areas. Wide and tree-lined sidewalks and pathwalks promote pedestrianization. Bike lanes and bike parking are also incorporated to promote use of bicycles as alternative transportation within the development. Existing iconic acacia and nara trees were retained and incorporated as part of the landscaping features of the development. Okay. These are the general sustainability features across all our projects. We have natural lighting and ventilation, where we have big windows for openings for more natural light and ventilation, LED lighting, and inverter-type air conditioning systems. Light-colored roofs and walls for heat reflection and less heat absorption. Water conservation with the use of water-saving aerated faucets and showers and dual-flush water closets. Rainwater harvesting systems for servicing of landscape areas. We also maximize lush landscape areas as features for our developments. Sewage treatment plants are used for treatment of wastewater for reuse and discharge, and electric vehicle charging stations are incorporated to promote use of electric vehicles. And for upcoming projects, these are our ongoing studies. We have green walls, which are vertical gardens for better air quality and insulation. Low E glass windows for better heat insulation while allowing natural light into the interiors. And this is relatively new, the building integrated photovoltaics. These are actually solar panels incorporated in architectural finishes. The solar panels are integrated in the roof, walls, and glazing, which are aesthetically pleasing, meaning they don't look like your ordinary solar panels. This image shows you the BIPV roof tiles and shingles. So on the roof, it looks like your ordinary roof tile or roof shingle design. But it is a solar panel which can harvest solar power and convert it to electricity. These are also samples of BIPV skylights and canopies. So these are glass and glazing panels used for skylights, but it's also a solar panel which can harvest solar power. Glass curtains are now actually BIPV. It can come in different colors and designs, and it can harvest also solar power. We have also wall claddings. You can see on the top left, the panels that look like stone are actually solar panels. And on the right, these panels are also with different designs that are incorporated in the building facade. We have also balcony railings. So from the outside, it looks clear, but there are some panels with that you can see the solar panels integrated into glass balcony railings. And finally, we have smart building management systems. So automated sensors are incorporated within the development to automatically control lighting, heating, and cooling depending on occupancy while reducing energy wastage. So in closing, our message is we are stewards of our earth. Let us do our share in protecting and preserving it for our children and future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very proud. I can hear it and much to be proud of. But architect, come, let's have a quick chat over here because there's just something we want to delve into after each speaker. There's just a little nice chit chat just to really drive home the message. So first off, I really like how you said it's three, not just one, but three. Lead, edge, and verde. Now, there's always an assumption that some real estate developers will go there so that they can pass on the cost to their residents. What's your opinion on that?
Actually, what we do is differently. We know that the cost for the sustainable features, the certification is borne by the developers themselves. But for us, this is okay because on a conglomerate and corporate level, like I said earlier, our president and CEO, Mr. Lance Gokongwei, already mandated all businesses and corporations within the Gokongwei Group to go sustainable. We do our share in preserving the environment and protect it also. On a business standpoint, what we do is we aim to recover the cost for the sustainable features through the savings from water consumption, power consumption, and even the revenues from our hydroponics facilities.
So in the running
Yes.
of the structure or of the building, that's where the savings is.
Yes, and then what does this translate to? On a customer level, it will lead to lower condo dues for our residents.
That's a good one because we do have some management students, I heard earlier, right? So that you understand the economics or how some management decisions are actually made. Lalong-lalo na pag minamarket ang isang property,
Yes.
right? So it's not just, bakit ang mahal? Or bakit ang ano? Just so they understand where it's coming from. Especially since you are the first in line as it is design.
Yes.
Thank you. Architect, one last question before I wrap up. Of course, within the company, this is something we also like to share with the students. It's not just from a management perspective. it's across the board. How do you have your rank and file or the rest of company employees practice sustainability as well?
In the office, it's as simple as managing waste. So we have trash bins specifically for biodegradables and non-biodegradables. And we make sure that we are disciplined enough to do our share to segregate waste. And with printing, we manage and try to conserve paper by going paperless. And then for existing printouts that we don't need, we use the back portion for printing drafts and also scratch paper. So it's as simple as that. We try to educate and just make sure that it becomes a day-to-day habit for everyone. With our projects, we do our best to make sure that each project is EDGE certified, and we use the latest technologies for energy conservation and sustainable materials. With our land development projects, we make sure that we don't do any massive earthworks that will change the landscape. Existing century-old trees, what we do is we preserve it and incorporate it in our designs. It becomes a major feature for our developments. And our company, we always practice also and join tree planting programs.
That's
the
also good
community.
exercise for them.
Yes.
Thank you. That's already a lot enumerated right there. So even within the company, they also walk the talk. A round of applause, please, once again for Architect Conrad. Thank you. First speaker pa lang yan. Thank you,
Thank you
Architect.
so much. Thank you.
Moving on to the second. I hope you're getting inspired. Yes? Oh, we have more. Hi, can I ask you to move? Okay. See, as presentations are going, some people are trickling in. So to everyone at the edge, can I ask you to scooch over to the center? And trust me, your view on stage is going to improve as well. Just so if some students come in late, they can occupy those seats and they won't block your view. So can I ask everyone to scooch over a couple of seats to your left as I now introduce our second speaker this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will be hearing from Megaworld Corporation. They have been a long-standing supporter of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum since our inception in 2022. Megaworld is on a bold path to becoming carbon neutral. They're also creating at least 5 million direct and indirect jobs by 2030. That is their goal. Let's get into details into the hows and whys of their sustainability initiatives. We have with us today the head of sustainability at Megaworld Corporation. A round of applause, please, for Mr. Arnie Bata. Hi, Sir Arnie. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, so I'll be sharing with you the journey of Megaworld when it comes to sustainability. And unlike several of our peers in the industry, Megaworld, together with our mother company, Alliance Global, started to formalize our efforts on sustainability quite recently. In 2020, this was done through the internal launch of Sustainagility. This program covers all 4 major subsidiaries of Alliance Global, which includes Megaworld. Now, just so that everybody's familiar with the entire company, Alliance Global is our mother company. The subsidiaries are Megaworld Corporation. For some of you who are not yet familiar with Megaworld, we are the developers of Eastwood City, McKinley Hill, Uptown Bonifacio, Iloilo Business Park, and so on. We are also, our sister company, Travelers, Inc. is the developer of Newport World Resorts in Pasay. Our Emperador is also our sister company. And we are also partner owner of McDonald's Philippines. So those are the major companies under Alliance Global. So when we launched Sustainagility in 2020, just a few months later, we experienced the lockdown, and that was the pandemic. No? So we were pushed back a bit with some of our efforts. Actually, there were a lot of things lined up for the company, but there is actually very little that we can do. I think most of the efforts of the company during that time was really more of taking care of the employees. No? Despite the pandemic, despite the shutdown, no employees were retrenched within the entire Megaworld Corporation. No? So that's one thing that was a focus of the company during the pandemic. No? So the following year, we had our very first pilot Adopt a Forest program in Miagao, no, in Iloilo. This covers around 240 hectares, and this was done in partnership with DNR and local farmers cooperative. No. Within Megaworld, we further reviewed and consolidated our efforts on sustainability. One thing we realized is that there are a lot of efforts going on under several departments, but no single program or unit consolidating, reviewing, and pursuing the efforts in a deliberate manner. So what that means is we have a construction team, they have their own sustainability effort. We have a planning team, they have their own effort. We have a malls operation team doing their own efforts. No? And so they have been doing this, we have been doing this for several years, and it has come to our attention that it would be better if we put all of those efforts together and have a bigger impact on the community. No? So to address those, I would say, fragmented programs within the company, we launched Me Green. This is our own campaign towards a more sustainable Megaworld. So to better manage our sustainability targets, we segmented the entire Megaworld group into several units. No? For some of you, you're familiar with Megaworld, but we also have subsidiary companies. We have Empire East, SunTrust, we have Megaworld Hotels and Resorts, we have Megaworld Lifestyle Malls. No? So what we did was, if we are to target carbon neutrality for the entire Megaworld Corporation, it would be so difficult and it will take so much time. No? So what we did was to segment the company in terms of ownership. So last year, we started focusing on all the efforts being done within all Megaworld owned and operated properties, no? Offices and malls. So that we will be able to focus on what needs to be addressed. And this year we achieved carbon neutrality for all those properties, totaling 52 within Megaworld Corporation. So we hope to replicate this effort for each of the subsidiaries of the company so that collectively we will achieve neutrality across all the real estate businesses under Megaworld by 2035. So you saw that last year we launched Me Green, and to ensure that we are succeeding in our efforts on sustainability, we focused on 4 major pillars that we are working on until 2035 to achieve our neutrality target. So first of all, we have sustainable townships, the road to zero, inclusive development, and stakeholder engagement and governance. No? So as some of you would probably know, Megaworld is a developer of compact mixed-use townships. No? The closest to where we are right now is Eastwood City. For some of you who are familiar, I mentioned earlier Uptown Bonifacio, Forbes Town Center, and McKinley Hill in Taguig. No? So compact high-density real estate development offers several significant advantages, particularly in urban and suburban context. No? So here are some of the key values it provides. No? So first, on efficient land use, our township developments maximize the use of limited land, reducing urban sprawl, and preserving the surrounding natural and agricultural areas. And also, vertical expansion within these townships allow for more units or facilities within a smaller footprint. Second, on environmental sustainability, compact real estate developments reduce sprawl and minimizes deforestation and habitat destruction. It encourages walking, cycling, and the use of public transportation, lowering carbon emissions. Also, it facilitates more energy-efficient infrastructure, such as centralized cooling systems and shared utilities. Centralized cooling is something that we are exploring for our future township developments. Also on improved accessibility with the development of mixed-use spaces within our townships where residential, commercial, and recreational areas coexist, the need for commute is reduced, encouraging walking or biking from one building to the next. Township developments also support public transport. No? Higher density justifies our investments in transportation systems within our townships. And in our case, we have our own bus company. It is called CityLink, making our townships more viable and efficient and somehow reduces dependency on private vehicles. Aside from the township design, we also pursue sustainability in each of our vertical developments. In 2019, we have decided, thank you to Architect Conrad for explaining LEED. The company has decided that all office buildings should be LEED certified. No? So as of today, we have 19 LEED certified operational properties, and we expect to add 9 more properties with ongoing certifications. No? So aside from LEED certifications, we also have immune certification, good travel scan, and we're also exploring EDGE certification for our properties. So last year, we also started Goal Zero. This is our internal program on solid waste management, where we endeavor to reduce our residual waste to at most 10% of the total waste generated within our townships. The program was pilot tested in Newport City, our township development in Pasay, and is now rolled out to all developments nationwide. As of today, we have reduced our residual waste by half. We are also pursuing water reuse in our townships. But as you would know, several of our projects are already, I would say, generational. No, so, so as a pilot project for this year, we are retrofitting one of our office buildings in McKinley Hill for double piping to allow for gray water reuse. And again, thanks to Architect Conrad for explaining gray water reuse. No, so, if everything, because as you would know, well, I guess, we have to admit we're here for business, right? So everything has to be financially viable as well. So we are pilot testing the gray water reuse for all office buildings. And we think there is a business case for it. And we think it is something that we can replicate in all of our buildings. So collectively, with all of these efforts within our townships, the green certification, waste management, and water reuse, this will all contribute to our target of delivering sustainable townships all over the country. On our next pillar, the road to zero, when we did our study on the biggest source of our emissions, no, our carbon emissions, specifically for scopes 1 and 2, these are the emissions attributable to our operations, no, directly attributable to us. We have realized that 98% of our emissions are coming from energy consumption. These are all from operational office and malls that we have. So that is why we have exerted all efforts to transition our power source from traditional power, coal-fired power plants to renewable energy source. So this year we awarded 100 megawatt contract to Empower, covering 65 major properties, that would be malls and offices all over the country. And within this year, we also hope to award further 20 megawatt contract under Green Energy Option Program, or GEOP, which covers additional 51 properties. With these 2 contracts, our transition to renewable energy will be fully realized by 2027. Now, we recognize that as of now, several aspects of our operation cannot be totally decarbonized. No? So earlier, I told you 98% of our emissions are coming from energy. So yung 2% is something that we cannot manage yet as of now, and we cannot decarbonize. So here, we are offsetting emissions via our reforestation program. To do this, we have committed to plant 3.5 million trees in the next 10 years. And as of today, in partnership with DNR and several people's organizations, we have lined up more than 1,000 hectares of forest land for adoption and reforestation. For this year, we have planted a total of 240,000 trees. And with more partners committed to support the program, we hope to ramp up the planting in the coming years to achieve the average target of 350,000 planted trees annually. To sustainably support also our seedling requirement, we launched an internal campaign for seed donation called SeedQuest. This program encourages our organic employees as well as employees of our locators to donate seeds for our future tree planting needs. So on inclusivity, we are focusing on health, education, and livelihood. So here are some of the images of what we do. We do medical missions and feeding program, again, to communities around the township developments of Megaworld. We also do partnerships with the DepEd. We do Brigada Escuela. So in celebration of our 35th year, this year, we partnered with them on 35 school beneficiaries all over the country. And also, we're maintaining an average of 1,100 scholars within Megaworld Corporation. And also, we support livelihood. So in this photo, you see our partner, Hands in Harmony. So since we are on the early stages of our sustainability journey, a lot of our efforts are focused on engaging our own team. No? So for the students, it's normally if you're running a program in a conglomerate where you have around 5,500 to 6,000 employees, it is not easy rolling out a program, convincing them to change the way they do things, to change the way they decide. No? So we really have to exert a lot of effort in rolling out engagement activities for our employees. And just to ensure that every employee that we have in the company would understand and know what we're doing in sustainability, our sustainability manager who's here, Daryl is here. So he is the one who takes care of ensuring each and every employee on your very first day, you'll have to go through a seminar on sustainability. That is aside from knowing where your laptop will come from, who will give you your office equipment, where you will be seated in the office. No? So si Daryl will also be there to make sure that you know what we're doing when it comes to sustainability. Also, for all regular employees, our HR is doing a continuous program we call DZHR. This is a regular Zoom training by the department for all our employees. So for this year, at least 3 episodes of DZHR is dedicated to sustainability. These and other efforts on awareness are being conducted regularly to continuously engage our own employees and locators within our townships. So lastly, so for the students, since we are a listed company, we are required to submit annual sustainability report to the government. No? And normally it requires a lot of information that we gather from from all of the properties that we have all over the country. No? So if you are managing, for example, 10 buildings, and you're monitoring power consumption on a monthly basis, that would mean 12 information times 10 buildings, that's 120. Now, if you want to have a more detailed review of the power consumption of the building, you'll have to separate the consumption of the common areas, the tenants, the air conditioning system, the lighting system, and so on. And so there are so many data points, no? And that is just taking into consideration one building. Now, what if you have more than 150 buildings plus other production sites of your sister companies all over the world, no? So it will be so difficult to consolidate information on a weekly basis, on a quarterly basis, or even on a semi-annual or annual basis if you will just have to do it via email collection using Excel, no? So this year, what we did was we partnered with Diligent. It's a sustainability data warehouse where we consolidate all information, no, so that we can easily consolidate and evaluate the information that we regularly collect. No? And in the real estate industry, normally you collect all the information on a monthly basis. No? So having a reliable data management system ensures that we are progressing towards our sustainability targets. With this same system, we hope to conduct our very first audit for Scope 3 emissions within the year. So these are emissions naman by our locators, by our suppliers, by our contractors. No? So earlier, when I told you we are carbon neutral for Scopes 1 and 2, that is for all the emissions directly coming from our operations, no, attributable to us. So for this year, we will be expanding the monitoring of emissions to our suppliers, contractors, and locators within our townships. No? So this will serve as our basis for our plans in achieving zero carbon by 2050. And lastly, we recognize that our journey it has only started and will definitely be long and will not be easy. There will be a lot of efforts when it comes to convincing and getting other people to our side. But nevertheless, we remain committed because in Megaworld, we believe that green starts with me, green starts with each of us. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Mr. Arnie Batak. I just got one, if not a couple of questions for you. Thank you again. But you know what? Hearing from Megaworld, it's never too late. Diba?
Yes.
For a company that just started on sustainability journey, 2020, tapos nangyari pa nga ang pandemic.
Yes.
Diba?
Correct.
It's never too late. And I think, I'm just curious though, I mean, what's nice is with you saying like you just discovered this online platform that helps, it's an app.
It is.
It's fun discovering
Yes.
what's out there when it comes to sustainability management practices.
It is actually, when we started the journey, no, so we started looking at how to make it easy for us.
Yeah.
Because what we noticed nga is with the size of our company and
Okay.
our sister companies, and we're all over the world. Technically, we have Emperador has production facilities in Europe. No? So we also consolidate all those information here in the Philippines. And
Because fragmented nga is magulo.
yes,
Kailangan unified.
oo. And it would be so difficult, calling them or emailing them, no, and getting information through shared Excel file. No? So normally the problem is when employees leave the company. No? So you don't know who to run after when it comes to getting information. So it's good that you have a system.
Or a consolidated way
Yes,
also.
yes.
Now here's one last question for you. You shared 4 major pillars under the Megaworld or Alliance Global. So I wonder though, because you're making strides in each from the zero to carbon and all, but which one is the most challenging out of the 4 pillars you shared?
Well, as of the most challenging really is the road to zero. No? Although in scopes 1 and 2 we mentioned that we are somehow managing it because 98% nga is coming from electricity. No? So all that we have to do is transition to renewable energy. No? Although as a country there is a challenge for availability of renewable energy, we solve that by doing forward contracting. No? So for the students, just to give you an idea, forward contracting is signing up a contract for a supply that will be available probably 2 or 3 years from now. Kasi wala pa yung renewable energy. Tinatayo pa yung mga planta, no? Yung solar power plant or wind farm. No? So having a contract with us is also a protection for the suppliers kasi they're assured na merong bibili ng kuryente. No? So it is easy for now for scopes 1 and 2. In 2 or 3 years, we will transition to renewable energy and easily we're 98% neutral. Okay. And then, i-complement na lang namin yun ng reforestation and we will be able to achieve 100% neutrality for scopes 1 and 2. However, scope 3 is much bigger than scopes 1 and 2. No? Scope 3 kasi, it covers your entire value chain. Ito na yung suppliers ng bakal, ng semento, ng ilaw, everything that you see in this room. No? I-account natin yung emission na attributable to them dahil partner namin sila in our projects. And
that's
also,
part of the certification requirements.
Yes, yes. And then also, yung tenants namin sa office buildings, tenants sa malls, meron ding sariling emissions yan, no? And so we will also have to account for that, no? And based on our studies, scope 3 emission will at least be around 18 to 20 times our scopes 1 and 2 combined. No, ibig sabihin, yung effort na ginagawa namin ngayon when it comes to reforestation should be 20 times more. Yes.
I hope that's a wake-up call for everybody na how massive and how much really gets involved, what you should look at when it comes to sustainability.
Yes. And that's why in solving for the emissions of scope 3, we have to do a lot of collaboration moving forward. It's really a partnership between the developer and the contractors, the suppliers, and the locators within our townships.
That was definitely eye-opening. And I applaud all your efforts again about the employees, how getting them involved. Pagpasok pa rin ng kumpanya, kasama na talaga sustainability.
And Daryl is here. He's the one doing that.
He's the one busy. But anyway, Arnie, thank you so much. I'll see you during the panel discussion. Arnie Batak from Megaworld, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Before I go to the third speaker, who is actually an interview, allow me to announce the winners of some raffle prizes. You get Toblerone. I got 16 winners of Toblerone bars. Justine Angela Aquino, Juliana Malyari, Sver Jasley Babol, Althea Luis Pungan, Joaquin Armandizon, Trixie Manalastas, Maria Lea Tabile, Mary Jerlyn Selaje, Jeremy Evaristo, Henry Comia, Charlotte Pierre Dizon, Ranzel Lorio, Minette Pineda, Fimela Mailen Astilla, Lizelle Paluyo, Rihanna Palaypayon. Enjoy your sweet treat. Get it lunchtime, not now. Okay, hindi pa recess break. Next up, Watson's gift items goes to Alessandra Denise Paloma and Clarice Jade Ramos. Congratulations, palakpakan naman dyan. Again, you can claim your prizes at the registration area during lunch break, okay? Because now we're going to move on to our third. We have 5 this morning, so we're already halfway. And it's going to be my pleasure to actually chat with him. We're heading straight to SM Investments Corporation now. Sustainability investments are actually at the core of SMIC's operations. So here to have a chat with me is the president of SM Engineering Design and Development Corporation. Give it up for Hans Chico C. Jr. Hi, Chico. Good morning. Welcome to our scholars ng bayan and all our students. Let's take a seat, Chico. Let's have a chat. I'll give you this chair so you can take a look at the screen if you want to highlight anything. But good morning, and thanks for making it to UP.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. It's my first time to this part of the campus.
Are you serious? Yeah. Well, engineering kasi. Biology to. Diba?
But it's a nice place, so I'm very impressed with the area.
Nice. I believe we're talking about balancing rapid urbanization with environmental sustainability and resiliency in design and building. We learned earlier on what sustainability is versus resiliency. So first question for you, not for anything. When you say SM, malls. So let's go for how you are eco-friendly in the mall area.
It starts with really what environmental sustainability is for us. And for us in SM, it really began with an idea that basically, and this was way back in the 90s when it wasn't really
Not even a buzzword.
It wasn't really a marketing buzzword. There was no CSR back then. There was no triple bottom line, directions. It was a simple question of values. Something that is core to SM has always been do unto others what you wish others would do unto you. So there was a moment there where we were asking ourselves, as we started putting up more buildings, we started asking the question, what are we doing? And are we responsible for our outputs? And so, to be honest, our first foray into sustainability was our sewage waste. And this was back in the 90s. So the academe at the time gave a suggestion to the DNR to start considering how to process the sewage of the different buildings of the country, because back then we didn't really have central sewage disposal. That's just the way the city worked at the time. So when we started investigating this kind of direction, we realized that, oh my gosh, there's so many things pala about a building that we've taken for granted. Whether it was energy usage, whether it was our sewage output, whether it was our emissions.
But it's a good wake-up call.
It was a good wake-up call at the time. And the wake-up call was thanks to our friends in DNR who sent us a violation notice.
Okay.
But it was a good effort, because at the time when we went up to DNR, we said to them, okay guys, so you sent us a violation notice. Ano gagawin namin? Sabi ng DNR at the time, Papa, hindi ko rin alam eh.
Oh, so you took it upon yourself to say, okay, we'll find a way.
So, but it was a good time for us to work together with the DNR back then, and then we discovered exactly how to do it through different partners, through academia and through private sector suppliers. We were able to get a solution, and it was a great way to cooperate and get a solution. And going back, that's really where our sustainability journey started.
So that's true PPP in action. You know what PPP is? Private-public partnership, correct? Yeah.
And from that point onwards, my father was always just very particular about, doing the right thing. That's a value that you will always hear from my family. Do the right thing. So whenever we are looking at anything with regards to the environment, we are always asking ourselves, what is it that we can do that will be actually sustainable in that regard? And again, this was back in the 90s, so it was much to our humor that in 2010s, right, it suddenly became a buzzword, and we were going, oh, this is what we've been doing all along.
This is a nice way to back, especially coming from Megaworld, who again just started 2020 and something all the way back in the 90s, right? So do you see how again sustainability is something that will keep going? So it's wonderful. Next, moving on from malls. Wake up call. SM Prime also develops offices. Let's not forget that. So same thing beyond sewerage now, other technologies pa.
So other than just sewage, we definitely use prop tech, right? I mean, as you can see there, all remote monitoring, telemetrics today. Today, I think the buzzwords that you'll hear is the IoT ecosystem, the Internet of Things. One of the things that we do try our best today, although it is taking a bit of while, is making sure we have telemetrics across all our equipment. And what does that mean? It means that we know the status of all our equipment. So if a pump is it's not even a breakdown, if it already is showing symptoms that it's not feeling very well, parang inuubo pa lang. So if you really look at equipment, there's harmonics. We look at ultrasound frequencies. If the frequency of that motor is already off by a certain percentage point, we already know, uy, may problema to. And
so don't wait for it to be a problem.
We don't wait. So there are many layers of prop tech. Prop tech enables us to do many layers of prevention. So one is that symptomatic, we can understand what's going on. Second, it allows us to track usage. So even if it's a time-based replacement, we know how much time has happened so we can replace it. And of course, ultimately, if there are certain equipment where there's no diagnostic and it fails, at least it still tells us, huy, hindi na umaandar yan.
Wow.
So,
talagang alert siya.
Yeah. That's really the advantage of technology for us today. And that's something that we always have to. This, guys, is still very much a wild, wild west frontier. There's still a lot of work to be developed in PropTech, and this is where you'll hear more technologies like machine learning, AI technologies to come in to help assist with a lot of the analysis.
But that's what's great about and exciting as well, that you're really taking into account that, hey, we can work hand in hand definitely with technology, what it's got to offer,
Technology is always a partner.
right? Next, okay, sewerage, and again, PropTech. Next, SM Waste Free Future Program. And that is actually part of, again, part of SMIC, hotel. They also have hotel. You have an hotel industry. So SM Waste Free.
SM Waste Free is our response to the question of what have you done about trash?
Food
Okay.
wastage.
All trash.
All
yes.
trash.
So for the hotel group, they're particularly good at reusing their organic byproduct, which is excess food, right? I mean, I guess you guys can understand. A hotel generates a lot of organic waste because
buffet na hindi
Exactly, the
naubos.
buffet. So of course, some of the buffets go to the worthy causes, but some of the ones that medyo hindi na pwede ibigay goes to a composter. And the composter allows us to generate compost waste so that we can reuse it for other purposes. But touching on the trash is that the SM Waste Free Future is our offer to the community, saying that, hey, can we try to segregate trash properly? Because one of the big long-term issues that we foresee as SM in the country is trash. We have three kinds of trash. We've segmented as recyclable, disposable, and compostable. So one, we can try to attempt to reclaim it, meaning reuse it again. Two, we don't have much choice. This is what we call landfill disposable. And number three, of course, is compostable, where we can reuse it
Yung
for
pwede pang
organic
magamit.
purposes.
Yeah.
So our hope is that we are really encouraging all our consumer and all our public markets to really help join us in that journey, that please understand where we can segregate the trash, because just that simple gesture of sorting your trash has a lot of downstream impact that a lot of us take for granted. We just think that, ay, de, basuhan na yan. No. At the end of the day, you know that shameful statement about how the Philippines is one of the largest ocean
Doon lang tayo
polluters?
top one.
Exactly.
Top one tayo.
Our trash that you don't segregate is a major contributor of that number. So we're hoping really that by trying to educate people and trying to say, hey, we have 3 bins there, please put it in the right bin. This is small gestures, guys, that will really make a big deal in the future, especially for
cascades,
recyclable.
Yeah.
One of the biggest reasons we don't have a recyclable industry in this country is because there's not much critical mass. So we hope that by starting to make everyone segment it into recyclable,
We'll show that we do have
we
it.
do have critical mass. The markets can start deciding that, hey, mukhang may pera to. So we can actually deliver and develop this further.
That's another opportunity right there. Next, back on your father. We've heard how proud and how really he has the value system inculcated in all of you. Wait, father? Yeah, father.
Yeah,
It's a big champion on authority on resilience. So how does SM Engineering Design and Development, we call it SMED, you call it SMED?
SMEDD.
SMEDD, incorporate flood resistant, sustainable drainage systems, all this. Water naman tayo, no?
We have 2 slides here, no? One is Marikina. Marikina was one of our old pioneer projects where at the time, this was a big question mark, like, why did you build it like that? Like, why was it like a temple in the sky, right? Like, why was it so tall? Lo and behold, a few years later, we would be shown exactly why. So this is a very good example of a reaction to a natural situation. So where we understood the data, and the data says that, hey, we have 1:100-year floods here of this level, we asked ourselves, am I going to, this is still making use of a property that would normally be deemed worthless, and we showed a way to make it still have some worth. Yeah. So look, this is a floodway, but we are still generating quite a lot of economic market out of it. So if you know what you're up against, there's very many opportunities for you to really rearrange things so that things can still be used.
And you're also a center. Pag binaba sa Marikina, you open your doors to people. Diba? You become it's a center.
For me, I hearken
For,
a refuge.
Yeah,
Yes,
refuge.
Center of refuge.
Yeah, so
I
Diba?
harken back to Ondoy when we were literally the only place in a 5-kilometer radius that had
Pumanta
electricity.
lahat. And you accepted all the people para
Exactly.
dun sila. So, thank you.
So this next slide is Masinag. This is a slide that shows you prevention. Okay, Masinag itself was a site that did not necessarily flood. However, the flood was a few more 100 meters down the road where there was a low point. Okay, and the concern was that if SM were to put up, and this was a very irrational, unengineering based concern, pag nagpatayo yung SM, babaha na kami. I mean, guys, there are so much math involved before you can even make that statement. But just to reassure everyone, because a typical building, you're supposed to design the right outflows to the right responsible area so that it doesn't really affect other areas. We already do that as part of our normal practice. But just to reassure the community, we said, fine, we will experiment with detention tanks. So what we have here is a very good example of a rain detention tank. What does it mean? If it rains, what we measured to this one was that if we took the footprint of the entire property and you took 0.5 meter of rain, which is a lot, okay? That's Ondoy level, 6 hours, okay? I can capture that rain and not bring it downstream to the system. So it prevents that rain, that volume of rainwater from potentially flooding.
What could have been
What could have been a
di ba,
flood in
yung
another
boom,
area.
You actually held it.
We held
You're your
it
own
back.
dam.
Correct. We were our own dam. So that is a very good example, guys, of what we call prevention strategies.
So again, what was deemed worthless, you made of worth, and what again, how you can prevent while still push forward with
correct.
plans. Wow. Are you guys being blown away by this by this interview also? It's like, that's a lot of information, right? But last, a couple things last, Chico. Technology, let's go back to technology. So far, you've done, again, waste management, sewer system. Let's talk energy. And now, water consumption and not flooding. How do you want to go into that? Still on SMEDD.
So we have a picture of SM Aura. SM Aura kasi was basically our first lead project. And this is where we started experimenting with published green building standards. And this was our first foray. And thankfully, it was nice because it's an international standard that wasn't really referenced from local ideas at the time. And they were definitely a few decades ahead of us. So we wanted to ask the question, how good were SM buildings, compared to a global standard? And the SM Aura project was something that we were proud to say that we went like, we qualify as gold, wala pa pala kaming ginagawa. So,
Congratulations.
So this was, so that was a nice milestone for us because we told ourselves, you know what, we're reference. We're doing a good job after all. So going back to technology, and there are two parts there: electricity and water. I'll start on water first, and I think I don't know if I have a slide on water, but anyways, on water is going to be, again, and I don't want to be a doomsayer here, but the water is definitely going to be one of the key resources that we all have to take care of in the next decade or more. We need to have real responsibility on the way we source water, to very clearly share to people our observations. Our aquifers are going lower and lower. Okay? And this is not something that people talk about, unfortunately. So this is water, fresh water is going to be an avenue approach of which we believe we're going to have a lot of innovation and a lot of improvement. So one of the things we're already testing, guys, is the treatment of rainwater. So today, we have facilities today, correct. We have facilities today that take the rainwater, we store the rainwater, and then we process the rainwater. It's actually not that complex. It's not magic. It's actually very simple to and it's very simple to what you see are your water stations today. Okay, but just on a bigger scale. Okay, so rainwater is the first line that we're testing today.
To make it potable, sorry, I didn't have my mic on.
To make this drinkable. So but rainwater is not a really clear, sustainable solution, even in a country like the Philippines, because even though it rains, our ability to consume water is more than what that rain is, because we can't catch if you were theoretically able to catch an entire city's worth of rain, yes, may laban. But you can imagine it's also very hard to have all these pots and pans out there just catching all this rain and throwing it to treatment
that facility,
right?
yeah.
So at the end of the day, rainwater is probably just a first-line defense. Second-line defense will be, controversially, and I am telling you ahead so that it starts implanting, is our sewage.
Ooh.
Our sewage is probably the most sustainable way to continually develop fresh water in the future.
Well, you know what? Astronauts do it.
Exactly. So if you want to be a NASA astronaut, guys, well, they're way ahead of you.
Yeah.
But of course, you have countries like Singapore who are also already deploying it in mass.
Ah, okay.
What you don't realize is quite a lot of Singapore water is actually recycled, sanitized water. I mean, sewage water. Okay, so we are on the cusp of trying to have a conversation with our market that, guys, I know it might seem icky at the start, but the science says it's actually really good. It's actually as clean as bottled water, frankly
It's
speaking.
doable.
It's very doable.
It is doable.
So it's a conversation we're going to have on water.
Nice.
On
Energy.
On
Yeah.
energy. Energy, well, I think all of you are affected by Meralco bills, so I think you understand how important it is to save energy. But how complex does energy become? Okay. The simple switch on and off of lights today is basic. Let me invite you to the world where everything is now taken to a further level of optimization, which is air conditioning. Air conditioning today in a typical SM mall is 70% of my electrical consumption. Okay? So you can understand that's my biggest obstacle to electrical efficiency. So where are we applying a lot of our technology? The sensors that I'm telling you, the remote sensors, that's where it all starts coming in. We monitor almost every key component of our entire aircon system so that, as we said, symptomatic pa lang,
Alam na.
we're already able to address it because that small hum is a 10% increase in electricity consumption already. So it might seem small, but for our bills, a 10% off a 70 million peso bill is 7 million pesos. So that's how we apply a lot. Now, the sensors are just telling you symptomatic. Where does another layer of technology come in? This is where you have analytics and machine learning now. It will now start telling you, okay, depending on the relative humidity of the day, depending on how hot the ambient temperature is outside, we will now rev our chillers to this setting and our air handling units to this setting, our dehumidifiers to this setting, so that we hit an optimal target of 22 degrees Celsius.
Which is to sustain the
that's
aircon
a
in
lot
the mall.
of math, as you can imagine, that's happening in the background. That's tweaking all these machines to make sure that they're delivering optimal levels of performance.
And so you can enjoy your malling experience.
Absolutely.
Diba?
There's a lot of work to getting your cool mall, guys.
Exactly. So next time you step into a SM mall, appreciate it naman. Okay. Wow. So, Chico, having all that said, from 1990 to today, what's in the future besides the sewer to drinking possibility?
Look, as we were discussing with some of your colleagues earlier today, the thing with our efforts is that the future is impossible to predict. I mean, we were just discussing about how some elections in some countries were quite interesting, right? So as we said, what we are challenging ourselves is that we're ready for anything. So that's why we're constantly asking the question in our offices. We're always playing the devil's advocate. What are we not seeing? What are we not? What will hurt us the most if we don't pay attention to it, right? So our great challenge really is to sustain that growth, as the slide shows, and really try to find ways to build things as efficiently as possible. Probably, I think this is the last segment, just as a parting message on sustainability, and this is something that I really try to tell a lot of students. A lot of technology that you see today is 5% improvement, 10% improvement. Hey, you apply this, it's 5% improvement. What I would really remind a lot of people, and I see this in my day-to-day, is that the biggest sustainability is actually simply being very, very good at what you're doing. And what do I mean by this? Do it once right. Too often, there is an attitude out there that is, okay lang yan, pwede na yan, pwede na yan. And then guess what? there's going to be that whole argument na, no, that's not good enough, do it again. And then, hahabulin yun naman, do it again. Think about the effort and energy that went there. You had to do it like 3 times, review it 3 times, when you could have simply done it once, right.
Yeah.
The energy you've put into that is energy that could have been deployed elsewhere. And where does this lead up to real sustainability? If you got it wrong as architects, engineers, then you built something inefficient. And you built something non-sustainable. And that is the appeal I want to really share with a lot of people, which is why I'm offering to go on these talks, because I wish people understood that the pursuit for academic excellence, for that technical competence is so important. Hindi pwede ang pwede na. Because how you get to the levels that we're getting is because you're constantly pushing yourself and you're constantly, am I better than everyone else? The moment we hit that complacency, that's when our sustainability journey ends.
Well then, please take your education seriously, everybody. Hans Chico C. Jr. And Chico, may I just say, do the right thing, everybody. Okay. Besides, again, making sure that you do the right, do it right. Do the right thing. That was a wonderful value from your dad. Thank you so much. We're going to see you in the panel later.
Yep.
Hans Chico C. Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Chico, super thank you. That was like fired up. All right. I'm going to move on to the next speaker already, and I love how we are actually really great on time today. We're going to shift gears and now welcome another brand partner, Philippines' biggest and most respected property developer, we got Ayala Land Inc. coming up next. Ayala Land is also taking major steps in shifting their commercial properties to renewable energy, and through power purchase agreements, the use of quality renewable energy certificates. Let's find out more about it. We have with us the Corporate Sustainability Head at Ayala Land Inc., Ms. Ana Gonzalez, and she will be joined by the Head of Brand Experience and Brand Strategy for Residential Estates and Corporate Group of Ayala Land Inc., Mr. Hans Lopez Vito. Ladies first, Ms. Ana? Okay. Okay. 2 mics. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Ms. Ana.
Thank you.
Are you going to
Well, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, better podium muna. I'll get you the mic. Yeah. 2 lectures. Then we'll take a seat for the quick Q&A. Thank you.
Hi everyone, magandang umaga. I'm glad to be back. Sige, ito yung clicker. Taga rito ako 40 years ago. Woo! Yeah. Yeah, iska talaga. Okay, so thank you very much to all the previous speakers kasi what you've shown is that sustainability is something that private business in the Philippines is very much passionate about. So hindi ko na kailangan ulitin na it's really important for the business sector. So what I'll do now bilang the lolo and lola of real estate in the Philippines, I guess that's what Ayala Land is, no? We are the lolos and lolas of real estate. We've been around for how many years? More than the mother companies have been around for 190 years, Ayala Corporation. Ayala Land itself was publicly listed in 1988. So just do the math. So anyway, sino dito ang Arki? Arki? Puro mga BA. BA! Sino nandito? Yan. So basically, I'm just calling out the members of our sustainability unit. I'm an architect and I graduated from UP Diliman. Yung mga colleagues ko, taga-BA, taga-Econ, meron din mga taga-engineering. So we're in good company. We'd like to see more science graduates also in the company. So as the lolo and lola of real estate in the Philippines, I'd like to introduce you to us by taking a look at our business boundaries or our taxonomy, if you want, to call it that way. On the left is estates development. So basically, this is our business that builds what we call estates or communities or central business districts. So if you've been to BGC or Nuvali or maybe the Makati Central Business District or even Vertis North, these are all called estates or their communities, and that actually house all our other projects. We are also in property development. We build land and housing subdivisions, condos, and other places that serve as residences, which we sell to our clients. And we have them in all the property types, premier down to economic housing. And then we also have what we call our commercial leasing and our hospitality products. These are malls, offices, and hotels as well. Now, beyond this main lines, we also have strategic investments. AREIT is our real estate investment trust. It's a new it's a format for office buildings and other types of properties. Avaland is our Malaysian investment, and we also have a logistics, actually warehousing company. Aside from that, we also have a construction firm, the biggest in the country. It's called Makati Development Corporation. Diyan yung maraming UP engineering graduates sa Makati Development Corporation. I heard that may nag-intern from UP sa MDC last year, and we'll welcome them again next year. And then we have Ayala Property Management Corporation. It's also the largest property management corporation in the Philippines. The last two, Direct Power and EPME, are what we call our retail electricity suppliers. So what do? They are the ones who make it possible for us to shift to renewable energy. They source renewable energy directly from the power producers and then come up with contracts so that we are assured of renewable energy sources in the future. Similar to what Arnie shared kanina. So we also pre-buy. No, we contract ahead of time, and so that we are assured of renewable energy sources. I think more than beyond 2026 na yung aming kontrata. So yon. So we're sort of buying from the same how do you call this pot. So yon. So this just gives you an idea on the breadth and scope of our business. And it's important with what I'm going to show you later. So, So basically my talk for the next 8 or so minutes is really just to share with you where we are now and how we got here. So I'm going to use this, this roadway. So para tong sine pero I start with the end. Ito na yung the end. Pero mamaya makikita nyo hindi ito in the end. So may spoilers lang dun sa baba. No? We're now in 2024 and we're using words such as, I'm sure you've already heard from the others what decarbonization means. So what we've done is we already have decarbonization partnerships with the supply chain. Arnie mentioned kanina what is called Scope 3. So as a company, we are primarily in charge of what we call our Scope 1 and 2 emissions. Ibig sabihin, ito yung gamit namin ng fuel for generators and other equipment, our refrigerants. And then yung Scope 2 is our electricity consumption that we control. Scope 3 is a more complex set of emissions. Emissions na yan ng aming supply chain, meaning yung suppliers namin, sa amin steel, cement, and PVC and all other materials, as well as the electricity consumption of our tenants. So kasama rin yun doon. So, what I did not realize many years ago that, it was while you could always say, okay, we will cooperate with our suppliers. It's not that easy. But now, I'm so happy that we're working with a company that actually, a Philippine company at that, which is actually committed to reducing the emissions of their steel. And in fact, they're already doing it. How do they do it? They use recycled steel. And in fact, this company called Steel Asia is a fully Filipino-owned company. It is also using low emissions technology to smelt their steel, and they are able to do it at a price which continues to be the same and competitive. And they've been supplying to Canada. Kasi yung Canada naman and other developed countries are looking for sources of green, what we call green steel. we're also working with our cement suppliers. So these are the biggest emitters as well. And we're also working with our plastics supply chain as well and looking into new products that we can use in our construction. So parang when I was starting out, this was something that was really so far from what we could see that time. And then we are the first Philippine real estate company with a science-based targets initiative validation or verification. The Science-Based Targets Initiative is a global organization that ensures that everyone who says, okay, we have a target for net zero, meaning, we will reduce our emissions, they are the ones responsible for making sure that, number one, your claim is ambitious enough, meaning that you have actually accounted for all or completely all your emissions, and that you are on track. Your targets are actually going to get you to a place where you contribute to the reduction of global emissions so that, well, ngayon medyo late na, pero ang target talaga is global warming does not exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius. So it's all, we had to undergo this validation for about a year. Kasi kinilatis nila talaga lahat ng aming emissions at lahat ng aming data. So again, para tong final exam parang ito yung claim nyo ha. O sige, we'll give you an exam. And then the last one, which is really something of a big pleasant gift to us, especially the nerds in the company, was, we have the first sustainability-linked financing bonds in the Philippines of its scale. It's 28 billion pesos. I'll explain to you what the sustainability-linked loan is. It is actually a loan which is actually tied to your sustainability or your net zero goals. Meaning, kaya ito binibigay sa isang company is because the investors are confident that you have been reducing your emissions this past years and that you are actually going to make it to hit that target. So it's really a vote of confidence from investors. Another thing that makes it special is that unlike most business loans, which only run for maybe 4 or 5 years or 3 years, these ones are pretty long term, relatively. So, 10 taon. So, we only have to, we pay it after 10 years. So, yun yung terms niya, 7 or 10. Thirdly, we were able to, because of our track record, we were able to negotiate lower interest rates. So, basically parang sinabi sa'yo, okay, bibigyan ka namin ng pera kasi mabait ka. So basically ganon ito. Hindi ito, some loans are really just based on the amount of profit that you're able to make. And this is actually what makes this particular financing special. And of course, I'm hoping that a lot of other companies in the Philippines are able to access this because then this will enable us to fund all other sustainability imperatives in the future. But how did we get there? So ito na yung. So we started in 2007 reporting. Well, way beyond that, before that, Ayala Land has already been very conscious about the environment, conscious about the communities in which they operate in. But it was only in 2007 that it was formalized, only because the standards started to come out then. So companies were beginning to understand their impact on the economy, their impact on the environment, and their impact on society. And there was the Global Reporting Initiative, which actually gave us the tools, parang report card, gave us the tools to measure ourselves. So, parang nag-baseline kami noon. These tools are like report cards, but with 100 indicators or more. Oops, sorry. Okay. The other thing that we were able to do at that time was to ensure that we had governance over our sustainability programs. These are the members of our sustainability committee now, but way back in 2008, we already had one, and I think this is about the fourth or the fifth set of board members of our sustainability committee. We are also headed by our Chief Sustainability Officer, Robert Loud, who also had our strategic growth and new ventures. He's been with the company for about 20 years. He's also a nerd. He's an industrial engineer. And, but more than that, he's also a very great business leader within the company. The sustainability team reports to him, and we have a sustainability leaders network. You saw the businesses earlier, di ba? Each of those have their own sustainability teams. Okay. All right, so next, so 2007, we started reporting. I think we were one of the very few in the Philippines who were reporting. So in 2014, we started to have ourselves audited. Why have yourself audited? Di ba? It is actually to, of course, keep us honest, keep us operating with integrity, making sure that our data is actually is evidence-based and that we're not making claims that are not true. And also, that was a good decision on our part because it kept us diligent about our reporting. It made us be evidence-based all the time. Suddenly, years later, so many other standards and reporting mechanisms came out, reporting requirements came out that, you know, if you were just starting lately, like sina Arnie, talagang it will really make it life difficult. Because these, especially if you're a publicly listed company like us, Megaworld, SM, and RLC is Robinsons is also publicly listed, no? Or is it JG Summit? Anyway, basta, if you are a publicly listed company, the standards by which you are measured are much higher. And you really have, the governance is very much higher. So all of these, I won't go through them one by one, but they are all coming now from the financial sector. So it's not just the tree huggers, the environmentalists, and the NGOs that are making you do this. It's actually people who give the money, which for me is good news. Because this means the finance sector is also very much concerned about climate change, they're concerned about social benefits, they're really concerned about society, and not just making money out of everyone, okay? All right, also about this time in 2014, we established our 4 sustainability focus areas, which again was based on what we saw or our assessment of the environment. So for site resilience, we identified site resilience as a focus area because we knew that as a company that was located in the Philippines, we needed to develop in a way as to strengthen sites, to recover quickly from disasters, and even to be more prudent about development. Technical due diligence was something that we were already doing before that, but this one was the one that institutionalized it in the company. Number 2, pedestrian mobility and transit connectivity. It makes sense because it is something that actually which reduces cars in the street. It actually benefits more people actually in Makati. In the past, admittedly, Makati was built as a car-friendly development in the 1970s and 1960s kasi akala natin, okay, having a car was the best in the 70s. But in the 90s, we started retrofitting a lot of the streets in Makati. We even closed some streets so that people can actually walk to their destinations. So parang counterintuitive, no? That the problem then was traffic. How do you solve a traffic problem? Ang isang sagot was, let's close a road. Though, di ba, parang counterintuitive, but no. What it did was it actually provided safe spaces for people to walk and to get to their destination. So these were just some of the things we did. We also built walkways above ground. Lately, what we've been doing now is creating more crosswalks on grade, kasi not everyone can go underground or above ground. Resource efficiency is what we have in common with all other businesses. Talaga namang this is this is basic. You should save on energy, water, and reduce your waste. Lastly, that time, and even up to now, we believe in local economic development. We believe in hiring locally where we are located, and also we also provide human capital training. So we've been partnering with TESDA to also train locals to become part of the construction workforce. Okay, in 2017, and this is, I think, one of the more exciting times for Ayala Land. It was right before the pandemic. We didn't know that the pandemic was going to happen yet at that time. But we'd already, number one, set our carbon neutrality target for scopes 1 and 2 at this point in 2017. And in 2019, and in 2018, we started management of our own carbon forests in our private properties. We'd given up these properties just for forests. And then this is the time when we set up what we call plastic eco-hubs. We collected plastics not only from our developments and our projects and our malls and our offices, we also collected them from the public. It was really an experiment, and we were very happy about how the public actually responded to this. They would bring their clean and dry plastics to us, and then we would experiment on how to use them for construction. But we actually had some very good wins on this one. Our MDC was able to incorporate plastics into ready-mix concrete and encase them so that they will not go to the landfill. We also partnered with BGC and another construction an asphalt provider by putting in plastics in asphalt. So this is also quite successful in the sense that 5 years later, they were still performing very well and at par with regular asphalts. And then what I didn't put here is this year, or late last year, we also partnered with a company called Vertigrow. They actually make rainwater harvesting modules out of recycled plastic. So it's really, all of these innovations are happening in the Philippines, and this is what makes me optimistic about our directions and our ability to understand what the real problems are and address the problems in, for example, waste plastic. Then, this is really just our seven carbon forest sites in around 784 hectares all around the Philippines. We host volunteers to actually reforest and also to take care of the forest. In fact, I was talking to someone earlier. In Mindanao, we have already started to host students who would like to undertake their thesis on these urban biodiversity sites. 2021, okay. So by 2021, we had shifted to renewable energy. About 90%, 95% of our GLA at that time was already shifted to renewable energy, and we achieved carbon neutrality for scope 1 and 2 in 2021. That was also the time that we started to look at scope 3 seriously. Now that we had found out that we can actually abate our scopes 1 and 2, pwede na yung scope 3. Okay? Scope 3, as I mentioned earlier, includes all the supply chain emissions. So 2023, we finished the inventory, ganun katagal siya ginagawa. And then we also identified our targets and interventions that we needed to keep it down. We identified, as I mentioned earlier, steel, cement, and then PVC were the highest emitters, and that's why we're working closely with them. Now, so we're back to now. The reason, I hope you were able to see the progression, but it's not like very linear. It might seem like, it was an easy path. All of this happened through a lot of experimentation, evolving of our ideas, and also determining whether, pag hindi tama yung direction, then we'll think of something else. We'll think of other innovations to, to address our situation. So here, I just added this so that you understand what the commitment to net zero is. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that we have completed our GHG emissions inventory for Scope 1 and 2, which are controllable, and Scope 3, which is in our supply chain. So just to let you know, okay, this is the level of our emissions in 2021. Scope 1 and 2 is just that little green line there. What does being net zero mean? It means however you grow, you have to make sure that your emissions are at that level in 2050. So where will all this go? In our case, we have identified which ones, maybe about 50% come from our steel, cement, and our what we call our purchased goods and services. That's why as early as now, we are talking to them and looking for ways for them to reduce their operational emissions so that we can work together. And in fact, if we do work together, our other colleagues, our competitors, will also benefit from it. So we're basically doing some of the initial work for our colleagues in the industry. So yon. So yung blue line na yon is really our pipeline. We will build more houses, condo units, more malls, more offices, more hotels, more estates. And if we do it in a way which will not reduce anything in hindi man irresponsible way, basta business as usual ang tawag doon, we are going to reach that 38 million by 2050 from 33 million in 2021. That's tons CO2 equivalent. Okay, so this is where we are now, our little journey in sustainability, which I think was a very good experience for everyone. And I hope sabi ko nga career talk ba to? Kukuha ba tayo ng mga estudyante dito? And really, for me, I can sum it up in a couple of sentences. Sustainability really is about assessing your situation, being observant like a scientist, identify the problems, and then look for ways to solve it. So that is one way to actually represent sustainability. So hope you join us.
Thank you, Anna. I just have a few more slides on my side.
All right.
Anna is a nerd. Have you noticed? I'm not. I'm also from UP, student number 90, if that dates me a little bit. So it's great to be here. And I think it's really great that Ayala Land has nerds and geeks like Anna. I'm not a nerd. I'm a marketing guy. I'm vice president for brand experience and strategy. So what's the gap? Philip said we're supposed to talk about how we bridge the gap. Well, here's the gap. Nerds are great because they do this. They help Ayala Land do the things that we need to do when it comes to sustainability. But for me, as a marketing person, I want the rest of the world to know about it and understand it and appreciate it. Why is that the case? I want you guys to know about this because if you know the things that geeks like Anna are doing at Ayala Land and the geeks at Megaworld and RLC and SMDC are doing, then the more you'll support it. the more you'll support our businesses, our products, our services, the more, therefore, our sustainability efforts become more sustainable. Because at the end of the day, right, if we're not making money, sustainability will not be sustainable. So how do we make non-nerds like you and me understand this? We realized that here's a good way to bridge the geeks, the nerds, what we're doing, and the big market at large, our employees. Why? There's 7,000 of them in Ayala Land alone, quite a lot. Not only our employees, but also our suppliers, our partners, 53,000 of them. So do the math, that's about 60,000+ people who can really be our advocates and our ambassadors to the ordinary layman. It's not a lot, 60,000 people, over 100+ million Filipinos. It's a drop in the bucket. Boy. But if those 63,000 employees and suppliers and partners are really passionate, then I believe we can really make a big difference. There's a saying from my favorite revolutionary: I began the revolution with 82 men. If I had to do it again, I would do it with 10 or 15. But people with strict, absolute faith and passion. I believe that too. We believe that at Ayala Land. So in many ways, if we were to start a sustainability movement that people really understand, so people understand what we at Ayala, what the SM people, Megaworld people, and RLC people really are doing, a good way to start is with employees. Because if we get to those employees, we also get to 53,000 people who are our suppliers. But then if they had 10 friends, and each of their friends had 3 members in the family who also had 10 friends, who also had 3 members of the family, before you know it, we talk to everybody. In marketing, this is what we call 1 + 9 + 90. You talk to the 1 to engage the 9, you end up reaching 90 people. Before you know it, you're reaching everybody else. But what we do is nerdy. What we do is geeky. How do we make our sustainability story simpler and easier to understand, and thus easier to advocate for? Here's the unlock, guys. Conversations in the boardroom at Ayala Land, we realized this. We have 5 sustainability areas, as what Anne was saying: site resilience, climate zero, resource efficiency, mobility, local economic development. What if, for our staff, we just reduce this to checklists? What do I mean? Checklists are quite easy for us. As human beings, we're quite used to checklists. We say reduce, reuse, recycle. Easy. Crossing the road, they say stop, look both ways, listen, and cross. That's how you teach your child. Scientific method to all of you here from College of Science, STS, Natural, NatSci, Gana 1 and 2, make an observation, ask a question, formulate hypothesis, test hypothesis, draw conclusions. We like checklists. My favorite checklist of all, Rotary Club. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So we said, why don't we do our own checklists internally, and to really energize our staff and our suppliers about the things that we do, to help them understand the things we do. Simple checklists. 5, is the site resilient to extreme weather? Where we will build. Did we use renewable energy? That's net zero. Did we use recycled materials? That's circular economy. Is it easy for people to get around? Mobility. Did it benefit people's livelihoods in the community? That's economic development. So if we're able to communicate these checklists to our staff, they really understand what the geeks like Anna and the engineers from Ayala Land, some of them are here, really appreciate what they do, and therefore advocate to their family, to their friends, and to their friends, and to their friends' friends. Before you know it, everybody understands why Ayala Land, why RLC, why SM, why Megaworld is doing what we do. So we can start the movement from inside out. I just want to close by showing this film. I hope it will play, but it's just an example of how a movement starts, which I think you might enjoy. It doesn't play, but that's okay. Okay. It's very short.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course you know, a leader needs...
To start the movements. If we are to begin a movement for sustainability, the way to do this is to bridge the gap. Get the work of the technical people, but let everybody really understand it. Start with your staff. Get them really riled up. The way to do that, make them understand what the geeks are doing. And oftentimes, the best way to do that, checklists. Because that's how our mind works. So that's what we're trying to do at Ayala Land.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Hans. I'm both. I'm both geek and marketing. So anyway, Isko and Iska. I'm just going to throw one question. Anna, thank you very, very much. You introduced so many terms as the Lolo and Lola of real estate, 190 years. Now, resilience, sustainability, may introduce one more. And I believe you have been doing this as pilot projects. Circularity. Yeah. Would you like to, where are you there? Here you go.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for that question, para Miss Universe.
Yeah,
no?
circularity
Okay,
naman.
circularity just means that you treat each item of what you use in a manner that it can be reused, recycled, or turned back to what it was
source.
before. So in our case, I showed an example earlier about plastics. Plastics are actually, they're made from petrochemicals. Okay? People just throw them away. But actually, if you clean and dry them, they can actually be used for something else. PET bottles, the ones that you see for water, they can actually be turned back into themselves. Meaning, they can be processed, they'll be cleaned, they'll be processed, and they can become PET bottles again. And then those shampoo bottles that you have, HDPE, they're hard, sorry, geeky term, HDPE, they're made of hard plastics. They can actually be recycled into plastics again, but maybe something with less strength. And then in our case, something like, how do you call this, sachets, can actually be transformed into something that can be mixed into asphalt, which is petrochemical again. So then that will also, that in our experiment we saw, or at least in our trials, they actually served to strengthen asphalt.
Okay.
So-
But again, there is use. And not, if I may, tie it up to my interview with Hans, how segregation is so important nga
yes.
para mangyari to.
Yeah, that's true. Segregation has to happen.
Chico pala, sorry.
So that it is not contaminated.
Exactly.
Meaning, so for example, but on the other hand, like food or organic waste, it actually can be turned into soil. So if you just think about things as something that can be reused forever, you may
That's
not
circular.
have to, use new materials. Of course, it's more complex than that
Yeah.
because there are things right now that we need which cannot be. I think which technology has not found a way to recycle.
But at least it is one more term we want you to embrace, because we have been pushing sustainability, but circularity, especially circular economies, can be part of that equation. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please, for Anna and Hans of Ayala Landing. We're going to make way for our last speaker, then we will have a panel discussion. And I know, hopefully, we won't. We're actually nicely on time for today. Thank you again, Hans. For the last one, Ascot Limited is in the house. Ascot Limited is a trusted hospitality brand in the Philippines, and they are committed to extending their culture of care and hospitality to the people and environment. They have their Ascot Cares program. Here to take us through that is the Assistant Residence Manager of Ascot Bonifacio Global City, Ms. Faith Quijano. Hi, Ms. Faith. She is the Ascot Cares Philippines Sustainability Champion, if I'm not mistaken. Hi, Faith. Nice to see you.
Hi, nice to see you again.
I think I'll see you Friday for the tree lighting.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good morning. Yeah, it's the morning. Yes. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be in front of you again for the second year. We did the same thing last year, so while waiting for our slides. Okay, here we go. So, can I have the... Thank you. Okay, so at Ascot, as mentioned by Isa here, sustainability is a core principle that drives our operations and growth strategy. So to further support our sustainability efforts, hold on. There. We have introduced the Ascot Cares framework, which is built around these 5 pillars: community, alliance, respect, environment, and supply chain. So these pillars guides our initiatives to minimize our environmental impact and promote sustainable practices throughout our organization. Okay. Next slide. So the first pillar of CARES is community, where we contribute to building inclusive and vibrant communities, to providing community support, and preserving our cultural heritage. So with a growing global presence, we are in the position to make a larger positive impact to the communities that we operate in. So Ascot hosted a palette and palette event. This was done last April at the Ayala Museum. So as part of Ascot's commitment to providing unforgettable experiences to our guests, the event brought together talented chefs, local artisans, and cultural influencers, showcasing the vibrant flavors of and authentic experiences of the Philippines. Our culinary team delivered an extraordinary dining experience that celebrated the rich culinary heritage of the country. Palette and Palette event also gave baskets from rural rising Philippines for our guests to enjoy the dishes that we have served during this event. In celebration of Mother's Day, one of our properties also collaborated with Project Payaras This is a livelihood project that empowers and transforms the lives of unemployed moms in this community. So the mothers had a weaving class where our guests also partake in making their own purses as well. And another social enterprise that we have supported is Craig Crafts, who also collaborated with local craftsmen in providing sustainable livelihood and training for unemployed women of the SBI community in Santa Rosa, Laguna. So during the International Women's Day, we've displayed their products in our lobbies and held a designer-owned abanico trainings for our guests as well. Okay. And then, with the goal of driving meaningful partnerships, Ascot will continue to be in alliance with our second pillar with external stakeholders to advance sustainability across the destinations that we operate in. So in partnership with WWF Philippines, we are in a mission to protect and preserve the habitats of these endangered animals, like the majestic tamaraw, the awe-inspiring monkey-eating eagle, the adorable pawikan, and the captivating tarsiers. So through this Cobby and Friends, we are supporting WWF's conservation efforts and reinforcing our dedication to the protection of declining the species and nature. So this plushies can be found in any lobbies of our Ascot properties. And with every purchase, our guests will not only bring home this cuddly companion, but they're also contributing to the vital conservation efforts of these precious creatures and the ecosystem of the Philippines. Next slide. Okay, so part of our commitment under Alliance pillar is that by 2028, 100% of our properties will be certified with a recognized sustainability standard. So for our case in the Philippines, we have partnered with Vireo for GSTC, which is recognized globally for its gold standard in certification for sustainability. And I am thrilled to announce with you that the Ascot Limited Philippines is the first hotel group in the country, and actually in all our properties, Ascot globally, to achieve the first GSTC multi-site certification in the country. So this achievement reflects our deep commitment to sustainability and responsible tourism. We also forged strategic alliances with our suppliers, and for this case, it's Diversey, through their CSV, Creating Shared Values program, utilizing our hotel items. So they have various initiatives like Soap for Hope program, where they reprocess used soaps through a simple cold process, and these soaps were given to communities who needs it most. We also donated discarded linens for the Hope program, upcycling end of life hotel linens, and we gave it to a community that creates it and give another meaning and life to it. As part of our Citadines brand signature for the love of coffee, there's also Diverse's coffee break program, converting our used coffees into eco-friendly coals for cooking. Okay, next slide. And then we've also partnered with the French Chamber of Commerce and Industry in their inaugural sustainability conference titled La Conférence Bleue, which brought together industry leaders, government representatives, and sustainability champions to explore innovative solutions for a sustainable future. And then our co-living property, which is Life in Cebu and in Malate, marked their first anniversary with 2 amazing Guinness World record for having the largest display of origami sharks that's set in Live Cebu City, which also offers the largest display of origami stars, which is located in Live Malate, Manila. So the shark team was chosen in celebration of Cebu's unique diversity, as well as to raise awareness about the treasure sharks that live in the oceans of Cebu, which are now considered endangered species as well. Life Malate Manila also continued the celebration with a star-themed event which showcases a spectacular artwork during using 100,000 recycled origami stars. Okay. The R in CARES is respect, because people stand in the heart of our business. Ascot undertakes initiatives in areas including health and safety, diversity, equality and inclusion, human rights, and customer engagement. And as part of our collective goal to strengthen our customer service skills, we have rolled out the Filipino brand of service excellence training through our entire cluster in partnership with the Department of Tourism. Part of our commitment to build efforts in promoting D&I in this country is also we have partnered with Best Bodies Program Philippines. This is a non-profit organization that serves individuals with intellectual and developmental needs in providing opportunities for friendship, leadership, and employment. So last June, we held an arts session with Best Bodies Philippines and Canva to facilitate and guide these bodies as we teach them the fundamentals of graphic designing and presentation making. Next slide is in celebration of the Pride Month last June. We have also teamed up with Run Rio for the Pride Run 2024, where our associates and guests participated in this vibrant event honoring Pride and DE&I. We've also launched our Sustainability Passport program for our Somerset properties, where we seamlessly integrate eco-friendly practices that our guests can participate in when they stay in our property. So they get extra 100 ASR points for every items that they take in their passport. And then the Ascot Limited Philippines also made a significant step towards fostering environmental consciousness among the younger generation with the launch of our first ever ecology activity book titled Every Life Around Me, which was released in partnership with One Publication. So this was beautifully illustrated by Danny Go and written by Meg Rojas. The book highlights the Philippines' endemic wildlife with engaging activities that educate readers on how they can play an active role in environmental preservation. So as stewards of sustainability, the Somerset brand is delighted to spread awareness for eco-friendly practices and responsible tourism through literature. And we believe that education is the first step to a sustainable consciousness towards the importance of sustainable living. In terms of environment, our fourth pillar, our focus is as a responsible company is on low carbon transition, water conservation, sustainable accommodations, waste management, and circular economy. So we have partnered with the Haribon Foundation's Forest for Life movement through their Adopt a Seedling program to sustain their rainforest initiatives. And at the same time, provide livelihood projects for the people organization partner Samahan ng mga magsasaka ng San Andres. So through this partnership, we're able to plant 1,250 native seedlings in the Sierra Madre mountain range of Tanay Rizal, reinforcing both our organization's commitment to environmental sustainability and the conservation of our natural resources. Moreover, electric vehicles are gaining significant momentum, and more people are gradually switching to electric vehicles. So keeping this in mind, the necessities of our clients, we have successfully partnered with a reliable service partner to make EV charging accessible in all our properties across the Philippines. We have also installed solar panels in some of our properties. This marks a significant step towards our goal in sourcing 45% of our electricity or energy from renewable sources. Next is, as all our properties are also involved in some of the global movements, such as the World Cleanup Day and World Planting Day, to combat waste and plastic pollution. So this initiative fosters camaraderie amongst our associates as we work together for a cleaner, greener future. And then last week, we held a meaningful holiday tree planting activity called Seeds of Hope. So this is actually a nationwide initiative covering our greening sites in Cebu, Iloilo, Bacolod, and Metro Manila. So the chosen site for Metro Manila is the former Payatas disposal facility, where we planted 85 trees to aid in their transformation into a new Payatas Eco Park, soon to be the country's largest greening eco site. So with over 200 plus volunteers from our team, valued partners and guests, we've celebrated the holiday season by giving back to our communities and nurturing the environment. And at Ascot, we understand that our impact on the environment and society extends beyond our properties and guests to include our supply chains. So in all our properties, we also made the switch to refillable bottles and biodegradable packaging. We favor environmentally sustainable, local and fair trade products, of course, utilizing sustainable packaging for our restaurants. Okay, so, yep. But that's the end, actually, of my presentation. So there's just there's just some ways that we do, like a summary, highlights, but there's more that we can do to make a difference. So remember, every small action that we take towards sustainability can really make a great difference. So I hope we continue to work together and make a more positive impact and create a more sustainable world for everyone. It's an honor and a privilege to speak with you today. Thank you very much on behalf of the Ascot Limited Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Faith. I'll be asking you to stay on board. As we call on all the speakers now, it is time for the panel discussion so that, of course, some of our professors from UP will be able to react on what they heard this morning. May I invite on stage Architect Conrad Erfe of RLC Residences, Mr. Arnie Batak of Megaworld Corporation, Mr. Hans Chicosi Jr. of SMIC. We also have Ms. Ana Gonzalez and Hans Lopez Vito of Ayala Land, Inc. We once again have our project head of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum, Mr. Philip Cohenhing. And we will be joined, please take a seat, Ms. Faith. We will be joined by two of UP's very own. First, we have the Assistant Professor for Environmental and Energy Engineering Group of the UP Institute of Civil Engineering, Professor Maria Brida Lea Diola, Ms. Lea, Professor Lea, and Associate Professor Nicolo Del Castillo, Associate Professor at UP College of Architecture. So we have civil engineering and architecture professors with us, Professor Lea and Professor Nicolo. Now, before I start, I just want to say, with Ms. Faith of Ascot Limited ending our presentations this morning, sustainability isn't always just at the start of any building or real estate or any construction. Sustainability can actually be in practice with lifestyle, and that was what Ms. Faith highlighted. And as you can see, you can also contribute to sustainability by having a little bit of fun. So thank you for that, Ms. Faith. So may I begin? Thank you, Philip. Take a seat. I'll begin with the professors. Hi, Professor and Professor. Ladies first, Professor Leah. Insights, reactions on our 5 distinguished speakers this morning. And what is it that you picked up best that I think that you'd like your students to consider?
Thanks, Isa, and thank you to all the presenters. No, it's always nice to hear the perspective of the business sector, not coming from the academe. And talking about sustainable development, we always know the 3 pillars, like environmental, social, economic, and the presenters shared with us their innovation and initiatives, no, regarding sustainability. Now I'm very curious about the perception of the consumers, no, regarding sustainability, because we have this I don't know if may misconception na mas costly daw kapag may green building sustainability concept, and some of you have shared your initiatives towards public engagement. So in your opinion, sa mga consumers nyo and in the general public, how do they take in this concept of sustainability?
Especially that's a marketing thing. Actually, architect and our first 2 speakers did highlight on that. Would you like to expound on this a little bit more? How it always seems like mahal siya, pero nga how to involve the public or eventual consumers, especially future unit owners of what it is you have to offer. Who would like to take it first?
Hello.
Hi.
For us, it's part of also maybe like programs like this is to educate our customers, our residents on sustainability so that they understand what developers like us are doing in response to the preservation of our environment. So we put these facilities so that we are able to generate savings also.
And not necessarily nagiging mahal for the consumer. Because I think that's the concern.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier, that these savings can translate to lower operating costs for us, which can also result in lower monthly dues for our residents.
Thank you. How about anyone else want to pipe up on that? Mr. Batak or, of course, sige.
Microphone is
Yeah.
with me.
Okay. Ana.
Yeah, you're right. I think when we say mahal, we have to answer the question, mahal kailan? Ngayon?
Kailan? Justifying the
Ngayon,
price.
Oo,
When?
ngayon, bukas, or kasi you will be holding on to your house for the longest time, no? So you would like to have a house that will not be expensive later on, meaning will not make you spend more for your water, for your electricity, and other maintenance costs.
Diba? If you only have the basics now, ko bahala in 10 years. Kasi nga, all these things are going to go higher, right? I
correct.
think that's the math what both Hans and actually everyone has been piping in. Chico, take it away. Yes.
I think for me, you devolve the question to what I said a while ago. What is the right thing to do? If we all focus on cost, then yes, there is an incremental cost. Make no mistake about this. But I would like to remind everyone, and this is really the way we were brought up, that doing the right thing is never the easier option. And so the reminder to everyone is that if you always want to do the right thing, prepare to put the hard effort into it. So all of the things that we're doing here in front of you is something we could choose not to do. We could all have a much easier time with bigger margins by simply choosing not to do so.
Or sticking to economics.
Exactly. But the point here is that I think I speak for a lot of us here, is that we're not just normal, we're human. We want to do the right thing. So the reminder here is that the cost really is a very philosophical question. Unless you are really at the point of, as I've heard from a discussion, hunger or to live or not to live, right? But where you have reached a level of comfort in your life, the real philosophical question to yourself with regards to sustainability is, what is the cost of my effort to simply do the right thing? And that really is what we're trying to, I know we've not in some ways communicated this clearly at times, and sometimes people think, margins na naman ng mga kumpanya ang pinaghahanap ng mga to. But I can speak for personally, and I think for some of us, that no, we really just simply are trying to do the best that we can and encouraging everyone really to join us in a greater movement. Because as I mentioned earlier in the trash argument, it's not, even if SM were to do it alone, we are nothing to the Ayala argument of his 1990. We are just single percentage points versus the greater good. And so it is our hope and our wish that we are able to join together as a community, as a Filipino nation, that we can do the right thing for our country, rather than just, kasi ganito eh.
Thank you. Now, Hans, yes. Thank you for that, Chico.
The good news is, I think people are starting to open their eyes to the importance of sustainability. There was a regional study done by a big advertising agency across Asia, and it showed that Filipinos demand that companies play a big societal role more than consumers in other countries. I think it's because of climate change. There was a UNICEF survey released a few months ago from the Philippines. 3,000 respondents.
Or it's because governments
can't respond, so they expect the private sector to step up. And in a UNICEF survey, the top concern of Filipino youth, apparently, aside from education and hanap buhay, is global warming. I mean, we just had how many storms in the past month? I think we're starting to feel it now. Past week.
Past 2 weeks.
And more as we do focus groups and research among consumers, people are saying we want homes that are parang climate resilient kasi they know binabaha. They know ang init na. So can a place be flood-proof or can it be a little bit more cool? So I think people are starting to recognize. Hopefully we're one step away from consumers starting to say this is not just something that should benefit me, but should benefit society also.
All. Benefit all. Thank you for that. Our next professor, sorry, yes.
I just want to add,
Mr. Bata.
I think everybody talked about the residential market, but for the office market, actually, I just like to point out that we invest so much on LEED certification for office buildings, where we put in a lot of improvements in terms of design. But when it comes to operations, it's actually 30 to 40% more efficient than a traditional building. So in terms of the impact to our clients, it's actually cheaper to
Bumababa
operate the
imbis na
building.
umaakyat ang costs and expenses. Thank you for pointing that out, Sir Arnie Batak. I'll hand over, sorry, yes, Ms. Faith.
Just a short and sweet addition and to end this question. More likely how we can end it is that we could consider sustainability initiatives rather than costs, but treat it as a long-term investment because it really helps in cost efficiency in the long run. In the long run, for example, solar panel installations and stuff. So it's a long-term investment in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Ms. Faith. Now we go to Professor Nicolo.
Yeah, thank you. I hope the students here were listening to all the presentations a while ago, because you should consider yourself lucky that you were able to attend these presentations, because and also congratulations to the organizers for even I thought the arrangement of the speakers were a bit parang maganda yung pagka-curate. The first two speakers were talking about designs, the designs of their buildings, and then the second two speakers were talking about operations of their companies. In fact, a good eye-opener for me, I don't know about you, was SM. I would confirm the general perception of the public that SM is just about money. But now, if you listen closely, they were actually they were doing more behind the scenes. And I think I think Mr. C highlighted something that was significant in many of our yung sustainability and all things about environment, ang pinaka-importante dyan yung behaviors ng bawat isa eh. And he highlighted something about just the fact of people getting to throw the proper waste in the proper bin. It's a small act, and yet it's really a frustration even here in UP. Yung mga estudyante parang hindi marunong magbasa eh.
Students, wake up.
So I hope this set of presentations, gave you more hope into the future, in your future, and it's also inspiring that Manila Bulletin is organizing these presentations, because it's really good that we give inspiration to the future of our country, and that we're actually telling them that there are acts of good that are being done. But now I would like to go into the nitty-gritty of things.
Okay.
Kasi these are your future clients. Lalo na sa mga real estate, they will be your future clients. So maybe this is a good opportunity for you to tell us more about yung consumption patterns. Would you have any data with regard to how much would a typical resident in your buildings be consuming in terms of electricity and water?
Let's keep it residential then.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's residential.
Water, okay, water consumption lang for now. Water.
Actually, we have a separate department handling that. We have a PMO, so that's Property Management Office. So they're the ones that have the data. So I don't have.
However, at least when it comes to savings, if it is in practice,
Yeah, let's say, for example, water. What we do is for the flushing or the shower or the ones in the sink, it's all collected into a separate water reservoir that we actually filter and recycle, and then we reuse for non-potable purposes. So that's we use it for our landscaping, maintenance, and flushing also again of the toilets. So yun. But with regards to the numbers,
Yeah.
I don't have the exact
because that's
number.
operations. Chico would like to pipe in. Thank you for that, architect.
I don't necessarily have residential numbers, but to give you an example of a shopping center, if I were to build a shopping center in early 2000s for a typical SM mall, we would have required something along the lines of 12 megawatts of energy consumed. Today, I can operate these centers for less than 8. So you can see that the progression of technology from that kind of absolute value of 12, we've reduced it by almost half already, 50% reductions, to bring it down to 8. And these are through different technologies, as we said. LED was a massive deal for the entire real estate sector. I mean, we got energy savings of 60-70% across the board from that one. But lighting, of course. The other thing, as I've mentioned, is air conditioning. Air conditioning technology has gone leaps and bounds in the last 10 years. Just from inverter technology, different kinds of coolant refrigerants. So we've definitely had a lot of progress, and these are the things that are at our level. This is how the trickle effect happens. The biggest equipments, of course, are the ones that start using all these newest innovations, and then they slowly trickle down to your personal, air conditioning units. So we've been playing with inverters far earlier than the smaller, than what you buy today from the
Than a
appliance
personal
center.
consumer. Yeah, for a personal
So
consumer.
those are just some basic figures.
Okay, but there are at least both, be it water, energy, piped in, it's less now.
Yes.
It definitely is less now. So that would hopefully drive it for consumers to also see hindi dapat tumataas ang presyo. It is becoming more friendly or affordable. Anna, were you wanting to pipe in? Yeah?
Yeah, actually we have all that in our respective annual reports, and I cannot access them now kasi yung internet. But this is what I can share. So we started monitoring our consumption of electricity since 2007. Tapos when I came in 2011 and on, what I noticed was by 2014, 2015, they were already at the level which surpassed the ASEAN benchmark for electricity per square meter. Aside from that, because we are also monitoring our emissions consumption, emissions generation, we were actually going down to the level na we couldn't bring it down any further. Meaning, ang sabi sa akin, ma'am, pagka binabaan pa natin yan, kailangan nating isara yung ilang ilaw. So I would say, if I remember my data right, from 2011 to 2014, mga halos 20% per year yung reduction. So yon. So now we have to look at it again with the new technology. Kasi nga, now that you have a lower baseline, it's going to be harder to continue to reduce your consumption unless you don't use air conditioning altogether or you don't use lighting altogether, which is a nice architectural design challenge. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone, again, don't just see price as price. You were able to hear for yourselves what comes in that you get to enjoy. So I think I'll hand it over to our project lead, Mr. Philip Guinea, to wrap
just
up.
wanted to, on the behalf of Manila Bulletin, the appreciation of from the professors in terms of recognizing what we're trying to do here. But I actually wanted to throw something from left field to the panel because I don't know if the kids are aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of total global carbon emissions, the Philippines is a negligible contributor. We actually don't contribute much. So no matter what we do in terms of global emissions, it's not really going to change how the world is happening. But in terms of plastic waste, the Philippines obviously is a very strong contender for being #1 in the world in terms of contributing to plastic waste. And the sachet culture is still continues and persists here in the Philippines. No? And we have plenty multinationals actually, and I know I'm being controversial here, but we have plenty multinationals still playing a role in that market, perpetuating that market of tingy culture, of buying in what would you like to have the government do in terms of trying to arrest this sachet culture?
If not government, maybe everyone. Yes, go Hans.
You all love e-commerce, don't you? That's a big contributor.
Shopping.
Because, I mean, the amount of packaging materials, sachets, plastic things that wrap
When
around
something's
all those.
delivered to you nga,
When it's
e-commerce.
delivered to you, it needs
Yun
to be
pala.
wrapped many times so hindi masira, right? So I think ideally, hopefully some kind of a compact between government and e-commerce companies to make sure naman that they make that a bit cleaner.
Yeah. Be mindful of other choices instead of plastic.
Full disclosure, we have retail.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that that's something that needs to be.
Chico, go ahead. Yeah.
From our perspective,
Thanks, Hans.
we are definitely focused on recycling. It's an industry that we are excited to look at because we believe that it's a core part of the circular economy, as has been mentioned. And so, as much as we cannot, it's very hard to change consumer behavior patterns, guys. As much as some people think that marketing agencies can work their magic, at the end of the day, you will do what you will want to do.
It's hard to break habits.
It's hard to break habit, and it's hard to change convenience. So the convenience of the sachet market is something very much entrenched in a lot of Filipino communities today. So you can look at it from two folds. One is that we address the sachet, or we can at least address the processing of the sachet. So for us at SM, we would really rather focus right now on the processing at this point because one, we are not the consumer good manufacturer, so we don't really have a control over the way they package their product, right? But what we can address is post-usage, right? We can address is that please dispose of it properly. Please, we have the right bins in the shopping centers. Put it in the right bins and we can see how it's processed properly.
And again, mga taga-UP, magbasa daw, pati sa ano, ha? Sabi ni Prof. Ano?
I have another suggestion also aside from that. We actually proved this during the pandemic. So we had this clean and dry plastic campaign we started in 2019. And then to our delight, during the pandemic, people continued to separate. Ayoko nang gamitin nga yung segregate eh. Separate and clean their plastics and bring it to our malls. So, and our estates. So we just had this. At first, we had manned booths. Kasi ayaw naman namin na parang ibigay lang nila basta-basta. Oo. So, nung umpisa, we would refuse things that were dirty. But that was few and far between. And then later on, when we thought that they got it, We just kept it open. So we're rebooting that kasi medyo nag-die down siya because of, reopening. But for example, in Vertis North, even our tenants actually have like clean and dry plastic bins that they have. So in the beginning, kahit hindi ninyo masyadong paghihiwa-hiwalayin the types of plastics. Kasi may mga ganun eh. Hiwalay nila yung takip, hiwalay nila yung bote, pati yung label. Okay lang yon, just keep them flat. And the other one is Tetra Pak, actually. Just rinse them. Dapat hindi sila madumi. You can also have them, you can also contribute them and they will be, it's more of, we already have a Filipino company that can extract the paper and make it into paper. And then the rest will be recycled into boards or upcycled, whatever. Oo. So, yun. So, ang tawag doon, polyalpro. Biglang, bakit ko ina-advertise yung mga little social enterprises in the Philippines?
Thank you for...
Just watch out for them.
Thank you. Yes, Sir Batak.
For Megaworld, similar to our peers in the industry, for our malls, we partnered with PCX for plastic. This is plastic exchange, so they are our supplier for bottled water, and they also take care of retrieving the plastics back. So by law, we're mandated to recover at least 20%, by now. But currently, we're already recovering 100% of the bottled water, plastic bottles, that they supply to us. And for the students also, I'd like to mention, baka kasi nakikita natin yung mga waste market during weekends sa malls, na marketing campaign lang yan, but it's actually working. In all of our Metro Manila townships, we're already doing waste market, and we really recover a lot of plastic waste from residents and customers. It really works kasi the ones who collect are the recyclers. So there's a huge amount of plastic waste that we recover on a weekly basis.
So keep it up, tulungan natin sila.
Yeah.
Architect
Just to
before
add,
Faith, and then I'll wrap up. Thank you.
Residential projects, for us, of course, the residents, it's hard to educate and create that discipline to separate the trash. But we have a materials recovery facility where what we do is we have a temporary holding area where our property managers will collect them, and then they separate it. Once they place it on the materials recovery facility, they separate the plastic and recyclables with biodegradables. So but it would have been easier if our residents could do what others are doing.
Yes. Wag tayong spoiled. Kaya naman natin to. One more from the hospitality industry.
From the hospitality industry, this actually falls under our E of cares, which is the environmental pillar. So we've partnered with this organization called the Plastic Flamingo. Their bins are available in all our properties as well, where our guests can also drop their plastic usages. And then what this company or this social enterprise does is that it converts these plastics into eco bricks, construction materials that can be turned into houses or schools, which in turn gives us a circular economy for waste management as well. We've also partnered with Green Ants, if I can say, and when we donate our plastics waste for them, they in turn give us seedlings for every kilo. So these seedlings we give to our guests or to our associates that they can in turn plant as well.
So see the different practices at alam nyo na yung mga plastic collection sites and facilities na pwede nyong i-interview din para you have more options. But for now, allow me to wrap up as we are eating to our students' lunch break. Give it up for our wonderful esteemed panelists. And again, to the two professors from UP, Professor Leah, Professor Nicola, thank you. May I ask everyone to please stand in a straight line here for a photo op first. Philip, if I may, we'll just have our speakers and UP professors first. Thank you. Step forward, please, in a straight line. All of our speakers this morning, and smile at our main camera right in front of you. We have on stage again Ms. Faith from Ascot Limited. We also have, of course, Architect Conrad from RLC Residences, Mr. Arnie of Megaworld Corporation. Step to your right, Mr. Hansi Jr. of SMIC, Mr. Hans Lopez Vito, and Ana Gonzalez of Ayala Land. all smiling with our two professors, Professor Lea, Professor Nicolo. May I invite the Manila Bulletin team to please join Mr. Philip Coenhing on stage for the next photo. Irish Lorenzo, head of MB's Branded Content Group, Jordan Tan, Manila Bulletin's Business Development Manager, and our MB Section Editor for Property and Living and Sustainability and Environment, Mr. Ray Ilagan, Editor. Can we have the Manila Bulletin team come up for the group photo? There you go. Hi, Jordan. Where's Irish? Okay, and Ray? All right. Everybody squeeze it and smile. We hope you all had lots to take home and took notes on our morning session of the Manila Bulletin Sustainability Forum. Can we give everybody involved this morning a well-deserved round of applause, please? Thank you, speakers, for your generosity and time and for joining us. Lots to learn, especially here from our students. Thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch, please. But students, before I let you go, thank you. You may go back to your seats. Thank you very much. Students, guess what? More winners of Toblerone. And they are. And the thing is, after I say goodbye, you can claim your Toblerone na. Nicolai Jude Balansay, Christine Salvador, Misty Doctor, Karina Cheska Ramos, Rema Jane Villena, Mary Rosel Sorongon, Brianna Kate Salemero, Andre Gabriel Marquez, Aliza Kathleen Cecilio, Sofia Corinne Uy, Jerome Silvestre, Trisha May de la Cruz, Goders Tagailo, Zarj Merdel Adriano. Claim your Toblerones at the registration area. More winners for Watson's Gifts, Caitlin Tamayo and Vincent Marcel Santos. You get Watson's gift packs. That's it for me. My name's Isa Litton. Please to enjoy your lunch break. We still have an afternoon session. Sam Thurman will be your host for that. Please come back by 1:30. The program will resume at 1:30. Enjoy your lunch, visit the booths, collect stamps, collect your prizes at the registration area. Have a good lunch, everybody. Thank you for being a great audience. Thank you. Have fun. Huh? Sam Thurman's doing the afternoon. Kasi ako, I have to do something at night. Pero you have a Zinza on Friday. Yeah, tsaka Sam had you, diba? I know, pero hindi pwede si Sam. Kasi nga, Sam has this na. Sunod-sunod siya. He has a day job nga naman. He's part of a bank. Mga ganito, like what I'm doing. Yeah.